They say money doesn't grow on trees, but that's only true if you're planting the wrong ones. Right now, in quiet corners of gated estates, behind luxury homes and spiritual retreats, 8 specific trees are quietly transforming ordinary backyards into engines of wealth. These aren't decorative landscaping choices. These are ancient botanical power sources, trees that have been revered for centuries across civilizations, not because of their beauty, but because of the energy they carry. And here's the twist. It's not about how expensive they are or how rare. It's about where you plant them, why you plant them, and whether you understand what they're actually calling into your life. Most people don't. They stick a bamboo in the ground and hope for luck. But energy doesn't work on hope. It works on intention. The right tree in the right spot behind your home can quietly amplify your ability to attract income, solidify assets, and protect what you've built. And the wrong one? It can stagnate your flow, block opportunities, and even disrupt your peace of mind. Feng Shui masters have long warned, the back of your property is your wealth support zone. It's where your house draws in long-term prosperity, and where unseen forces decide if you rise or stay stuck. So today, I'm pulling back the curtain. This video reveals 8 trees that, when planted with awareness, are said to act like silent magnets for abundance. I'll walk you through their symbolic meaning, best placement, and what kind of wealth each one brings. If you've ever felt like you're doing all the right things but money still slips through your fingers, the answer might not be in your actions. It might be in your soil. And by the end of this video, you'll see that the trees behind your house aren't just part of the scenery. They're part of your destiny. The 8 trees of fortune that activate destiny. Tree 1. Fig tree, the tree of plenty and generational abundance. There's a reason the fig tree shows up in ancient texts, royal gardens, and even luxury estates today. It's not just a fruit-bearing tree. It's a symbol of deep, generational abundance. When you plant a fig tree behind your home, you're not just putting roots in the ground. You're putting down an anchor for stability, nourishment, and prosperity that extends far beyond your bank account. In spiritual traditions and even modern energy design, the fig tree is often referred to as the provider, because that's what it does. It provides shade, fruit, balance, and over time, a sense of richness that goes deeper than dollar signs. Its energy is expansive yet grounded. It doesn't bring fast, flashy money. It brings wealth that builds over time, that feeds not just you, but your entire household, your business, even your legacy. Imagine waking up every day and seeing the symbol of fullness growing just outside your back window. Not a coincidence, not a trend. A tree whose very existence mirrors the kind of life you want to build. Abundant, nourishing, rooted, generous. But here's the secret most people miss. Placement matters. In Feng Shui, the rear left corner of your backyard, as you stand at your back door facing out, is considered the wealth corner of your external space. This is where the fig tree thrives energetically. Give it room to grow, keep it well fed, and make sure its base stays strong and uncluttered. In return, it does what it's done for thousands of years. It holds your wealth energy in place and helps it multiply over time. And this isn't just metaphor. People who understand energy placement, entrepreneurs, real estate investors, creative professionals, use this tree like a living investment. They plant it once and let it become a quiet powerhouse behind their success. One more thing. The fig tree works best for homes that are building something long-term. It's not the tree for fast flips or unstable energy. It supports families, businesses, and ideas that are meant to last. If your focus is on creating wealth that supports generations, not just seasons, then this tree belongs in your soil. And when it starts to bear fruit, don't just eat it, recognize it. That fruit is a message. It's a sign that the energy you planted is starting to return. That your home is no longer just a structure, but a living, breathing magnet for wealth. All of it beginning with one tree, one intention, and one clear decision to grow your future from the ground up. Tree 2. Lucky bamboo, quiet strength, consistent growth. Lucky bamboo is not loud. It doesn't boast with colorful flowers or towering height. But don't let its simplicity fool you. This is one of the most powerful plants for cultivating steady, long-term prosperity. In Feng Shui and energy design, lucky bamboo represents quiet resilience. It grows slowly, intentionally, always reaching upward, even in the most difficult conditions. That energy of unwavering persistence is exactly the vibration it brings into your home. While other plants might demand attention, lucky bamboo offers stability. It's a symbol of wealth that doesn't scream, it whispers. It reminds you that real fortune isn't always dramatic. Sometimes it shows up gradually, layering over time, like compound interest or the quiet rise of a business built on consistency. But what makes lucky bamboo truly special is how it adapts. You can grow it in water or soil. It can sit in a simple glass vase on your desk or take root in a lush garden bed. Wherever it lives, it adjusts, survives, and continues its slow climb. That makes it an ideal wealth activator for modern life, especially for those who aren't chasing overnight success, but are committed to creating a life of enduring value. It's also deeply tied to the energy of protection. In many Asian traditions, a cluster of stalks is believed to guard the household against financial leaks, unexpected losses, unwise spending, or broken deals. Placed in the right location, especially the back right corner of your home or workspace, lucky bamboo works like a silent ally, guarding your stability while helping your efforts bear fruit. Now, here's where intention becomes everything. The number of bamboo stalks you keep determines the energy you're inviting. 2 for love and partnerships, 3 for growth, 5 for health, 8 for wealth, 9 for fortune. If your goal is abundance, a cluster of 8 stalks, tied with a red ribbon and placed in clear, clean water, becomes more than decor. It becomes a living commitment to your financial future. But don't just leave it there. Speak to it. Yes, really. Speak your affirmations while watering it. Thank it. Let it become part of your abundance ritual, because what you nurture nurtures you back. Lucky bamboo doesn't create lottery winners. It creates disciplined creators, visionary thinkers, and business owners who build wealth brick by brick. If you've ever felt like you're doing everything right, but not seeing the quick results others seem to flaunt, this plant is your match. Its message is simple: keep growing. Quietly, powerfully, steadily. Because wealth rooted in discipline always outlasts wealth born of noise. And lucky bamboo, it thrives when the spotlight is off, but the energy is on. Tree 3. Bay laurel, crown of victory and recognition. The bay laurel doesn't just grow, it declares. For centuries, this tree has been a living emblem of triumph, respect, and public success. In ancient Greece and Rome, wreaths made of laurel leaves were placed on the heads of generals, philosophers, and poets, not just as decoration, but as a sacred signal. This is someone who has achieved, who has overcome, who has earned the right to be seen. And that symbolism didn't vanish with history. Today, when you plant a bay laurel behind your home, especially in the western or rear center zone of your yard, you're not just adding greenery. You're anchoring the energy of recognition, victory, and elevated status into your personal space. The bay laurel is perfect for anyone who's ready to stop working in the shadows and start receiving the acknowledgement they deserve. Maybe you've built a solid business, but you're still overlooked. Maybe you've done the inner work, shown the dedication, but your name hasn't been called yet. This tree speaks to that moment. It doesn't bring random luck, it brings earned recognition. It supports those who are ready to rise publicly, to step into roles of influence, leadership, or authority. If your wealth goal is tied to visibility, to being seen as a thought leader, artist, speaker, or entrepreneur, then the bay laurel aligns directly with your path. Energetically, it's a tree of confidence and charisma. Its fragrance alone, clean, sharp, almost regal, stimulates focus and mental clarity. That's why its leaves have long been used in rituals to enhance strategic thinking, attract respect, and even clear psychic clutter. In your yard, it acts like a spiritual amplifier. But here's what most people miss. This tree responds best when paired with action. You can't just plant it and walk away. You need to show up for your goals as deliberately as the laurel grows, measured, upright, unwavering. Prune it with intention. Keep its base clean. Visit it often. Speak to it like you're speaking to the part of yourself that's ready to be seen. Bay laurel is not for the faint-hearted. It's for those who are done dimming their light. Those who understand that wealth isn't just about accumulation, it's about acknowledgement. To be respected for your gifts. To walk into rooms where your presence carries weight. To build a legacy that speaks for itself. The laurel crown isn't handed out lightly. It's earned. And if you're ready to wear that energy in your life, start by planting its roots behind your home. Because this tree doesn't just whisper wealth. It calls it forward, with clarity, courage, and the unmistakable voice of someone who's finally ready to be recognized. Tree 4. Olive tree, the silent magnet for legacy wealth. The olive tree doesn't shout. It doesn't race to grow. It doesn't demand attention with bright blossoms or fast fruiting cycles. And yet, it is one of the most powerful wealth symbols ever rooted in human civilization. When you plant an olive tree behind your home, you're not inviting fleeting success or flashy gain. You are anchoring a legacy. A quiet, unwavering presence that speaks of endurance, wisdom, and prosperity passed from one generation to the next. Across cultures, from ancient Greece and Rome to the Mediterranean estates of the modern elite, the olive tree has stood as a sign of wealth that lasts. Its very biology reflects this truth. It grows slowly but can live for centuries, continuing to produce fruit long after its planter is gone. It is not for the impatient. It is for those who understand that real wealth is measured in decades, not weeks. That prosperity isn't just about income, it's about impact. The olive tree has fed families, anointed kings, healed wounds, and lit lamps for thousands of years. It has supported economies, sustained communities, and marked the land of those who ruled wisely. Its symbolism is layered: peace, fertility, protection, wisdom, and above all, sustainability. But here's where it gets deeply personal. If you feel called not just to accumulate money, but to build something that outlasts you, a business, a foundation, a family structure, a spiritual legacy, the olive tree mirrors that desire. Planted in the back left or center zone of your property, it becomes more than landscape. It becomes your reminder. Every time you see it, you remember, I'm not here for quick wins. I'm here to plant something permanent, to nourish others, to leave this world more abundant than I found it. Energetically, the olive tree is calming and protective. It brings a sense of stability to your land. It anchors your home with an ancient, grounded frequency that is especially supportive during times of transition. Buying a home, starting a family, passing wealth to heirs. It doesn't need much, but it asks for reverence. Tending to it, watering it with intention, harvesting its fruit mindfully, becomes an act of wealth consciousness in itself. You begin to see the connection between patience and prosperity, between rootedness and expansion. For high achievers, spiritual seekers, and wealth builders alike, the olive tree is not just a plant. It's a symbol of how you move through the world. Thoughtfully, consistently, in service to something bigger than yourself. If your vision includes not just personal gain, but the creation of a lineage, of values, wealth, or healing, then the olive tree is your ally. Quiet, strong, and absolutely immovable in its mission. It doesn't chase fortune. It becomes the ground it grows from, and in doing so, it draws abundance toward you, slowly, steadily, for lifetimes. Tree 5. Lucky bamboo fence, a living fortress of wealth. Not all wealth protection comes from bank accounts, insurance policies, or legal contracts. Sometimes the most powerful defense is grown, not bought. And in the case of lucky bamboo, When planted in a fence-like formation along the back edge of your property, it becomes a silent but impenetrable barrier, guarding your prosperity, redirecting negative energy, and reinforcing the quiet boundaries that allow abundance to accumulate undisturbed. Lucky bamboo, when used as a living wall, does something extraordinary. It doesn't just block what's unwanted, it shapes the very energy flow of your environment. In Feng Shui, the rear boundary of your property represents support, legacy, and long-term resources. It's the energetic spine of your home's wealth structure. When that line is soft, undefined, or exposed, energy leaks out. Opportunities vanish. Money slips through the cracks. But when reinforced with upright, vibrant, lucky bamboo, that energy gets held in place. Think of it as building a reservoir, not just attracting wealth, but containing it. The bamboo itself carries the frequency of resilience. It bends in the wind but does not break. It grows upward, constantly reaching, regardless of what surrounds it. When planted in close formation, stalk by stalk, it forms a dense curtain of quiet power. This isn't decorative. It's strategic. It tells the universe, I protect what I build. I don't leave my fortune to chance. This living fence is especially potent for entrepreneurs, investors, or anyone managing long-term assets. If you've been experiencing instability in your finances, ups and downs, promising ventures that fall apart, sudden losses, look at your physical boundaries. Are you energetically exposed? A bamboo fence corrects that. It strengthens your foundation. It holds the field. There's another layer most people miss: sound. When the wind moves through tightly planted bamboo, it creates a soft, rhythmic whisper, a subtle reminder of alignment, of energy moving but not escaping. It becomes a meditation in itself. You walk outside, hear the rustle, and remember, you are protected, supported, and grounded in something built to last. Caring for a bamboo fence becomes an extension of your wealth practice. Trim it regularly. Keep the base clean. Let it grow tall, proud, and united. The act of tending it reminds you that real wealth isn't passive. It's cultivated, respected, and shielded. And unlike a wall of concrete or wood, this fence lives. It breathes. It reflects your intention back to you. In a world that often demands speed and visibility, lucky bamboo teaches quiet strength. And when it stands behind your home like a green spine of protection, you no longer have to guard your fortune alone. You've built a living fortress, one that holds, one that lasts. Tree 6. Golden Areca Palm, airy flow, light-filled luck. Some trees bring power through their roots. Others offer protection through height or structure. But the golden areca palm, it transforms space through movement, light, and breath. It doesn't stand still. It dances. And in doing so, it clears stagnant energy, uplifts the mood of a home, and makes way for fresh opportunities to flow in with ease. In the world of Feng Shui and energy alignment, the areca palm is celebrated for one specific quality: Qi circulation. That's the invisible life force that determines how freely energy, both physical and spiritual, moves through your environment. When Qi is stuck, life feels heavy. You overthink, opportunities feel blocked, rooms seem dim. But when Qi flows, you feel lighter, doors open, ideas land, money moves. And the areca palm is nature's perfect tool for opening that flow behind your house, especially when planted near shaded corners, forgotten fences, or cluttered backyard zones that tend to trap and dull energy. What makes the golden areca palm unique is its golden hue and feathery fronds. It doesn't just clean the air, though it's one of the best at doing that. It brightens it, literally and energetically. Sunlight filters through its leaves like a prism, softening harsh shadows and adding movement to stillness. The wind plays with its leaves, creating the visual equivalent of deep breathing. Just looking at it can help the nervous system downshift. And in that moment of stillness, intuition comes in. Clarity comes in. Fortune, no longer blocked, arrives. But here's the deeper wealth message. Areca palms are often associated with homes that feel open to possibility. When you plant one behind your home, especially in the east or southeast corners, you're telling the universe that you're ready to receive through alignment, not force. That your path to abundance isn't about pushing harder, but about clearing the space for it to find you. People who thrive with this tree are usually creators, visionaries, or those moving from survival mode into a more peaceful kind of prosperity. Want to amplify its effect? Place river stones at the base to reinforce water energy, flow, flexibility, calm. Add a mirror or metallic accent nearby to reflect light and multiply the energetic movement. But most importantly, keep it healthy. This tree is sensitive to neglect. When it droops, so does the energy around it. Tend it with care, and you'll find that it returns your investment tenfold, not just in beauty, but in brightness and grace. In a chaotic world, the golden areca palm doesn't hustle for wealth, it allows it. And that's a message many of us need to hear. Wealth doesn't always arrive through noise, speed, or strategy. Sometimes it drifts in like sunlight through leaves. Quiet, gentle, inevitable. Just make sure the path is clear, and this palm will help you do exactly that. Tree 7. Polycia's Ming-Aralia, gentle healer, energy stabilizer. Not all trees need to be tall or majestic to transform a space. Some work in quieter ways, rebalancing energy, softening emotional tension, and creating a space of calm where clarity can rise. The Polycias, commonly known as Ming-Aralia, is one such plant. With its finely textured, fern-like leaves and layered branches, it radiates a subtle but profound stability. Ideal for anyone building sustainable wealth, emotional resilience, or spiritual protection. Planted behind your home, especially in the southwest or center zones of the property, the Polycias acts like a buffer. It gently dissolves heavy emotional frequencies, like fear, worry, resentment, or scarcity, that often gather in our environments over time. You don't need to see these energies to know they're there. They show up as fatigue, as arguments that repeat, as feelings of stuckness that no action seems to fix. This tree won't shout its presence, but day by day, it works beneath the surface, like a therapist for your home, absorbing what no longer serves and returning a softer, clearer frequency in its place. There's a reason Ming-Aralia has been prized in traditional healing gardens, monasteries, and sacred spaces across Asia and beyond. Its energetic field is dense but not oppressive. It doesn't just shield, it recalibrates. If you've been through a period of upheaval, loss, burnout, career disruption, relationship instability, this is the tree to plant. Its vibration encourages restoration and soft reorganization. You don't have to be perfectly healed to build wealth, but your foundation must be stable. The Polycias helps create that ground. From a Feng Shui perspective, this tree supports earth energy, calm, nourishing, and grounded. That makes it perfect for those navigating long-term financial planning, property investment, or healing generational money wounds. And because it grows in a spiral-like pattern, it naturally invites expansion without chaos. Your wealth can grow, and so can your peace. Want to amplify its effects? Place it in a ceramic pot or earth-toned planter if you're keeping it potted outdoors. Pair it with a small wind chime or gentle water feature nearby to activate its energy-cleansing properties. Tend it regularly, prune with care, water with presence, and you'll find that it responds not just physically, but energetically. Many people report that after planting Polycias, their homes feel more still, their minds less noisy, and their choices less reactive. In a world full of noise and constant striving, the Polycias teaches a different kind of power, quiet confidence, the kind that builds wealth from a place of clarity, not chaos. The kind that protects not just your assets, but your nervous system. When planted with intention, it becomes more than a tree, it becomes your sanctuary. And every time you walk past it, your body remembers. True abundance requires balance, and peace is a form of prosperity. Tree 8, Jade Plant, the tree of immediate fortune. If some trees represent long-term legacy or emotional healing, the jade plant is a fast-acting symbol of tangible wealth. Known widely as the money plant or dollar tree, the jade is compact, resilient, and undeniably magnetic. Its plump, coin-shaped leaves don't just resemble prosperity, they radiate it. In both Feng Shui and Western metaphysical traditions, the jade plant is considered one of the most potent activators of immediate fortune, especially when placed near the back entrance of a home or along a path leading in from behind. There's a reason why you'll find jade plants sitting quietly in the back corners of successful shops, restaurants, and creative studios. They don't call attention to themselves, but they change the air. They anchor an intention. In metaphysical terms, the jade holds a vibrational field of accumulation and ease. It tells money to stay, opportunities to land, and ideas to grow roots. While other wealth symbols speak in the language of patience, the jade whispers immediacy. What makes the jade plant unique is its balance of yin and yang. It's soft but structured, abundant but low maintenance. It doesn't require constant tending, just consistency and presence. Its leaves store water, symbolizing savings, reserves, and preparation. In moments when you're planting a new venture, negotiating a raise, or launching a product, this is the plant that supports swift traction. Unlike the towering olive or patient fig, the jade offers quick, energetic return. Like finding an unexpected check in the mail, a client signing earlier than expected, or a solution appearing just in time. But the jade also demands clarity. If your intentions are scattered or reactive, its effects will feel muted. To fully activate its power, set a clear financial intention before placing it. Write it down and tuck it beneath the pot. Clean the leaves regularly. They love touch, shine, and light. Speak to it even briefly as you pass by. The more relationship you build with your jade, the more it mirrors that back as quick, concrete fortune. And for those who have felt unseen or unsupported in their financial growth, the jade is a quiet ally. It says, "You don't need permission. You don't need to wait. The energy is already here, direct it." It's especially supportive for entrepreneurs, artists, freelancers, and anyone creating their own lane. It bridges the gap between vision and income, between dream and delivery. Planted behind the house, especially near the back door or at the threshold between indoor and outdoor spaces, the jade holds your fortune like a sentinel. It guards the boundary between what's yours and what might slip away. And unlike more dramatic plants, its presence is calm, strong, and quietly proud. In a world obsessed with overnight success and flashy results, the jade teaches a softer truth. Fortune doesn't always roar in. It often arrives in small, steady gifts. But those gifts, when nurtured, compound. And the jade, it reminds you every day that abundance is not far away. It's already growing right there in your backyard. Final. We've journeyed through 8 trees, each rooted in symbolism, science, and centuries of sacred knowing. And while each carries its own frequency, whether it's the expansive generosity of the fig, the victorious breath of the laurel, or the quiet fortitude of bamboo, the deeper truth they share is this: your environment is not passive. It is constantly listening, responding, and reflecting your state of mind, your beliefs, your patterns. What you plant is not just about beautifying a space. It's about shaping the energy that shapes you back. In Western culture, we often separate the practical from the spiritual. We think wealth lives in spreadsheets, investments, and strategies, while healing, alignment, and purpose belong to meditation cushions or retreats. But in reality, they are one field. And these trees, carefully chosen, intentionally placed, bridge that artificial divide. They're not superstitions. They're not ornamental. They're living interfaces between the material and energetic realms. Behind every tree we've discussed is a principle of psychology, ecology, or quantum biology. Bamboo alters the air pressure and sonic resonance of a space. Jade stores water like a savings account, echoing resilience. The laurel uplifts the limbic system, triggering alertness and pride. These aren't metaphors alone. They are experiences that shape behavior, memory, and neurochemistry. They support you in becoming the kind of person who naturally attracts abundance. Calm, focused, receptive, responsible. But none of this works without intention. These trees are not magic on their own. They are mirrors. And so the most important thing to plant is belief. Belief that what you cultivate matters. That where you live isn't just a backdrop, it's a participant. That prosperity is not a one-time achievement, but a frequency you return to over and over through care, attention, and alignment. You don't need to do everything at once. You don't need a garden worthy of a magazine. You need consistency, reverence. A few square feet of earth behind your home where your wealth, your peace, and your future can root themselves and grow. So as this video closes, walk outside. Stand behind your house. Let your body feel the energy there. Is it open or scattered, protected or exposed? And then plant one tree, just one. Let it be your signal to the universe. Let it be a vow to yourself. And as it grows, remember, the more life you support, the more life supports you. If this message resonates with you, share this video with someone you care about. Help them grow their own garden of wealth, not just money, but safety, clarity, and sovereignty. Subscribe to the Wealth Gate and let's reach that first 1,000 followers together. Because this is not just a channel, it's a movement. A return to wisdom, a community of quiet power, and it starts with one tree.